First of all, your name actually.
I'm Muireann Baker. 20. I'm from Laois. And I go to college in Galway. I go to NUG or UG now. And when I was in first year, I lived across from this girl called Maeve Ray. And then when I was in second year, it was maybe around Christmas time of second year, and I went over to Maeve's house, not to see Maeve, sorry Maeve, but Maeve's other housemates that I was also friends with invited me over, and Maeve was chatting to me and she was talking to me about how she was going to do Kilimanjaro, and I was like, that sounds so good, I could do that. And she was like, you have to raise €5,000 for charity, give or take, and I was like, I could do that. And my boss, I work in a pub, and he actually loves me, so I was like, he will give me the €5,000. I was like, I can make this. So I was like, people love me in the pub. I was like, this is going to be so easy. And it actually turns out my boss had meningitis. So the charity that we had to raise the money for was Meningitis Research Foundation.
Okay.
So it's a UK based company, but it works all around the world.
Right.
It's not like Meningitis England or anything, or Meningitis Ireland. It basically works in kind of getting vaccines and getting information to third world countries, as well as providing, like help to families that have suffered from meningitis already.
Yeah.
So their aim is to get rid of meningitis and septicemia, which is a blood infection caused by the same disease, by 2030. So I was like, yeah, that's okay. So I went home, I told Michael. Michael was all for it. Michael's my boss. He was like, yeah, you can absolutely do this. And then I kind of signed up to do it, and I told my mum and dad, and my mum was like, absolutely not. She was like, no way are you going to do this. She was like, you're not going to Kilimanjaro, you're not going to Africa. She was like, so dangerous. My dad was like, yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Like, typical dad response. Like, didn't really care. So I signed up to do it, and then like bit by bit I kind of started raising money. It got a bit serious, so I put up a poster in the pub saying, please donate to me. And then I raffled off my lecture picnic ticket because I was going to miss lecture picnic. So overall I raised €4,500. Well, €5,000.
Yeah.
My goal was 4,500 to go. And then I made over that, so I just donated the rest. I helped the other people that were going with me today. So there was 7 of us that went from NUIG. And we were all second year students, now third year students. And I actually knew Maeve was going, and I actually knew like a lot of the people that were going. Was then maybe one other girl. I didn't know her. So yeah, I just decided, I don't know what made me do it. I just thought I could so do that. Just something that clicked to me when she said it to me. And she had told me about this before.
Yeah.
And it didn't nothing registered with me. I was like, that's awesome. Like, you're so cool for going and doing that. But I was like, I want to do that. I was like, I want to go to Africa.
Is it organised by the college?
No, it's not affiliated with NUIG at all. They didn't want anything to do with it.
And
They've tried to organise if they could get fleeces, and they didn't reply.
How did it end up that it was all NUIG students? Just her friends?
Well, no, Maeve organised it with NUIG, but there was 35 of us that went overall. So there was UL students as well.
Okay.
There was UCD, and there was Trinity students. So they kind of target colleges, because that's kind of target. Due to talent,
the
organisation. Yeah, the demographic, because it's cheap. They're like, students want to go, they want to travel, they're raising money, that kind of stuff. So Choose a Challenge is the group that I did it with, and they do loads of other stuff. They do like Everest Base Camp, K2 Base Camp. They do like a Machu Picchu route. They do there's a Colombian mountain. They do like the 3 peaks in England. They do the 3 highest peaks in the UK within 24 hours. They do like the London Marathon. They cycle from like Paris to Belgium or something like that. They do loads of different stuff.
Yeah, so they're all like strength or like mental.
Yeah, mental kind of challenges. And then like they work with another charity. I can't remember what charity, but they also work with MRF in terms of like, the kids or the students and all that kind of stuff get to have this amazing chance and this amazing opportunity to do something good for charity while also helping the charity. And Choose a Challenge basically just put that in place.
Yeah, I get you.
So there was 35 of us overall, and 34 of us got to the top. One guy got really sick. When he got there, he got like blood poisoning from the plane or something. He was quite sick, so he didn't make it up.
Blood poisoning from the plane?
Or from flying or travelling or something.
Oh, right.
I'm not that sure.
So when you landed in Tanzania, where did you fly into?
So we flew first to Doha, in Qatar,
Yeah.
and we did a 9-hour layover there,
That's long.
after like a 9-hour flight. And then we flew from Doha to Kilimanjaro International Airport, so that was 5 hours. So it was like full 24 hours travelling. So we get to Kilimanjaro Airport, and there's 2 Choose the Challenge guys to meet us.
Yeah.
And we were waiting around, whatever. There was one guy actually that missed the flight, completely.
From your group, like?
Yeah, from the group. So he missed the flight. Our flight was 8 a.m. leaving Dublin, and he thought it was 8 p.m.
Oh my.
So he had to pay overall, because he had to end up paying flights back. He paid over €2,000. So he had to fly. He actually made it, but he had to fly to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam straight to Kilimanjaro.
This isn't the guy who got blood poisoning.
No,
Because that would be a horrible trip. Oh, just in general.
No, so it was
So he
expensive
made it,
for him.
Yeah. Gee, imagine having to fork that out on top.
No.
But like, surely he was not. Would he not be like talking in the group chat like?
No, well, see, like a lot of us didn't know a lot. So, and everyone from NUG knew each other because we all met up beforehand. And then, like, I knew Maeve and I knew a couple of girls. I mentioned Gail took one of the girls. We just knew each other from around.
Okay.
But not all the UL people knew each other because there was a lot more of them than there was of us.
Yeah.
So Jeremy didn't actually, what's his name? Sorry, Jeremy, if you ever see this, like on yet. He didn't actually know anyone else going.
Ah, and they don't put you in contact or anything like that?
Not really. Well, the
like
UL had a group chat, and actually this Dan that was in my group from NUNG, he works in Booley, which is an outdoor shop in Galway. So he gets a call, Jeremy's from Mayo, so Dan is in Booley and he gets a call from this woman and she's like, oh, my son is climbing Kilimanjaro next week and he hasn't bought his boots yet. And Dan is like, get him here ASAP, he needs to buy his boots right now. So Jeremy comes down and buys his boots, and then Jeremy is constantly out in Galway that night and he meets Dan or whatever and they're chatting. And so Dan has Jeremy's Snapchat and like Dan was texting Jeremy and everything. And we're like, this guy who didn't buy his boots until a week before he's climbing this massive mountain, we were like, this is very expected. Like the fact he missed his flight. We were all like dying to meet Jeremy then because we were like, we'd heard so much about this guy from Dan. But like Dan was the only one that could like contact him and he just wasn't answering his phone because it was 8 a.m. in the morning.
He's still in bed, like.
He's still in bed.
So what did you do like much preparation before climbing? Or did you just kind of
honestly
go
no.
for it? Did you set out with the intentions of having?
Yeah, I did.
Like, you were like,
I was like, I'm gonna train hard for this. I'm gonna do loads of stuff for this.
Yeah.
I did like Diamond Hill, and then I did some other. Me and my friend Sally. Sally was supposed to go, but she couldn't go in the end.
Right.
We did some random mountain. I
Just
like this
trail
like I don't even know what it was. Yeah, in Galway like once or twice. And then like I did a lot of running anyway. Like me and Sally would run loads. Like we'd be doing like at least 5k every day, like 10k usually. So I was really fit at the start of summer, and then I was working, and I did nothing during the summer because I was working. So I did sleep in mountains a fair bit.
Yeah.
I'd go like every day off that I had or every chance I could. I'd do like long hikes. I'd do like 3 or 4 hour hikes. But that was about it.
But when I came,
But I was not like a lot of people didn't do training for it. I definitely think it probably could have helped me, but I still made it. So.
Yeah, because like I know absolutely nothing about the feeling of like, getting altitude sickness.
Yeah.
Like I climbed Acatenango in Guatemala, and like that's I can't remember what height it was, but a few people felt sick at the top, but I don't think it was that high. But Kilimanjaro
do you know how high it was?
Pretty high.
I think actually like.
No, I don't actually remember how high it was, but you start pretty high up.
Okay,
so I think like the height of the mountain you start nearly like halfway up.
Okay, yeah, when you're doing you travel up.
Yeah, so you get like drop like where the road goes is nearly like halfway
that's
up.
kind of like Kilimanjaro, like you go up, like you start at 1,800 meters.
Okay, yeah, I think this mountain could have been like overall like 2,000 meters.
Yeah, that's still high enough, I'd say, to feel a bit of altitude sickness maybe.
Yeah.
If you're not used to it, yeah.
And did you? So talk me through like where do you start when you're doing Kilimanjaro?
So we got transferred to our hotel in Moshi, and then we woke up the next morning. We're waking up at like 5 o'clock. We get a bus transfer. 2 girls, their luggage actually got left in Dublin, so we had a pit stop, and we had to wait for the girls' luggage to come from the airport.
They didn't even make it out of Dublin.
They didn't even make it out of
So
Dublin.
difficult.
We were like, so difficult, right?
Yeah.
So then we set off again. It was maybe an hour drive to the base camp. So it's Mashima Gate. So we did the Mashima route. There's different routes you can do. Our route took us 6 days, but you can do 10 days. You can do 3.
Yeah.
But obviously, that altitude sickness and like, you know, we're like how much training and how much like
Lack thereof.
Yeah, lack thereof. You have. So you start at Mashima Gate. So that's 1,800 meters. So we get there. We all sign in to the Kilimanjaro National Park.
Yeah.
And we got our lunch, which some of the lunches were, the food was really, really good on the mountain, but some of the packed lunches were a bit questionable. There was a lot of questionable meat.
Okay.
A lot of boiled eggs, like a lot of boiled eggs.
Did they do nearly like luncheon meat? It's like
No.
a mixture of like cheese, pork, and like beef. It's like a
don't think so.
mixture
That
of all
sounded
different meats.
horrible.
Yeah.
No, it was just like chicken, but it just looked not
Sliced
appetizing.
chicken. Yeah.
Yeah. So we set off then, and our first day was 7 hours, 6-7
Of
hours
hiking.
of hiking to Mashima Camp. So Mashima Camp is 2,800, but it's actually 3,000 meters. So you've basically gone 1,200 meters in elevation.
In one
The
day.
first day.
That's some goal.
So that was a lot, yeah. And like we were like most of us are glad, like it was hard, but it's kind of because like this is the first time a lot of us had done like any like proper like lengthy walking, and it was kind of a different terrain and stuff like that. But it was good.
Yeah.
And when we got to Mashima Camp, I was like, I don't feel that well.
Oh.
It was right. I was like, I just had a bit of a headache. Like our tents and everything were set up, and I was like, I don't feel great. And then we were having our dinner. I subsequently did not have dinner, but we had popcorn, and I was like picking this popcorn, and I was like, I really don't feel good. And there's actually a picture someone took of like the tent of someone like eating the popcorn, but I'm down the very far end, and you can see my face. I'm like white, and I look so horrible, and I actually end up getting sick 10 times that night, or like that evening.
Altitude sickness, yeah.
I just vomited. Like I could not stop. So I was like, I'm going to bed. Like I did, like, so that's all we could do. So you can take Diamox as altitude sickness tablets.
Yeah.
So doctors advise you start before you climb. Some people don't take altitude sickness tablets at all, and they get to the top. There was 1 or 2 guys that didn't take them at all, and they got to the top fine. Didn't get altitude sickness at all. So I started. When I got altitude sickness, I was like, get me a Diamox ASAP.
Yeah.
And Diarlite, or Diarlite, whatever.
Diarlite, yeah.
I hate Diarlite.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. It was rotten. I actually I can't drink it, but that's what they tell you to drink. So Diamox is actually like an anti-diuretic as well. So it means, or it's just a diuretic, so it means you need to pee loads.
Yeah.
You drink loads of water. Like you're drinking like, they recommend like at least 4 liters of water a day.
Yeah, I
So
can
a
imagine
lot. Like we were drinking more. Some people weren't drinking that much. I was drinking loads.
that. Is
but
it hot?
the water?
No.
Oh,
the weather.
It actually wasn't that warm. Like it was warm in terms of like you'd wear a t-shirt and the top, so like it wasn't like cold, but it wasn't that warm. Like we were kind of hot because we were hiking,
Yeah.
but like the start of it is kind of rainforest jungle, proper
Yeah, and
jungle.
then as you go up.
And then as you go up, so obviously it's getting colder as you go up, but you're getting closer to the sun. So during the day it was really warm,
Yeah.
and then the second the sun is down, it's freezing.
Right. Okay,
So
that makes
I
sense.
got sick. I went to bed. I was really worried. I was like, I can't go back down now. I was like, I can't. Like, I'm not even like halfway there. I was like, I have to like stick to this forever. So I just went to bed and I woke up, and I was actually felt so grand.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it just
needed
passed.
to
It
get
just
out,
passed. Yeah. And we had guides. So like our head guide, Freddie, he had summited the top 210 times. He had summited the mountain 210 times, and he said, I don't even know how many times I've been up this mountain.
Them boys are just different though, aren't they? Like,
They were, so we had guides and we had porters. So the porters carried, so we had big bags on our backs, but then the porters carried like our sleeping bags and like so our clothes and stuff like that. So the limit is 20 kg on the bag. Now none of ours were over like, because you're wearing half the stuff and then you're carrying half the stuff.
yeah.
So I don't think any of ours were over 10 kg.
So you for yourself is
So we were
20
only,
kg.
no, the
Or-
porters,
Okay.
10 kg. We were probably only carrying like 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah.
So, but the porters then carrying our big duffel bags was maybe like 9 kg. Depends. Some people had more. Mine was
Yeah.
pretty
I
light.
get you.
But they were carrying They carried all of our tents every day. They carried all of the food, just like tables, chairs, like they were just carrying everything.
Tables and chairs.
Like just that we sat on, like they were just carrying so much stuff, and they passed by us and they literally like on their heads, on their backs, like these huge, but like they are without a doubt like the most impressive people I've ever met in my life.
I back that.
And we're struggling with our like 4 or 5 kg. We're wearing hiking boots, we're in all the gear, and there was one guy wearing a pair of jeans and a pair of dirty, like worn up Vans.
Yeah.
And we were like, and he was just flying it. He was running past us with all his weight in his back, and they do that non-stop. So it's like crazy. And then our guides, obviously, so there's a lot of like, so you start off as a porter, and then you move up to like kitchen and camp staff.
Right.
So you know, in terms of cooking, in terms of like looking after the tent and stuff like that. And then you are a trainee guide, and then I think you have to have at least done 15 years before you can become a head guide, and you have to go to college for 1 year to become a head guide.
Oh yeah? Where do they go to college?
I actually don't
Kilimanjaro?
know, but in Kilimanjaro there's obviously a setup, but
Yeah.
not many people are head guides.
Does everybody always get a head guide? Is
Yeah,
there
every
always a
group,
head
every
guide
group
for
gets a head
group?
guide.
Okay.
Yeah. But like it's a lot of work to like get to that
To get
status.
to that.
Like,
Would that be? I imagine that's a huge like employer for people
it
in
is
that area.
the
Like
biggest.
if they are born in that area, like that's the
It's
job to
the
get.
biggest in the surrounding area in Moshi,
Yeah.
and it's the best paying job in Moshi as well.
Yeah, especially with. So like obviously the group pays, and then I imagine tips as well.
We tipped.
Yeah.
All of us tipped €160, and there's 35 of us, and like they actually do get paid reasonably well.
Yeah, but the work they do
But
is
the work
outrageous.
they do, like they don't get paid well enough for the work they're doing.
Yeah.
But you know, like, and every one of us said like if we could have tipped more, like obviously we only had so much money that we brought, but like we would have tipped more if we had more money. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of us donated our gear as well, so you could
Okay,
donate your gear afterwards to the porters, and the
Yeah,
guides and
porters
stuff like
and
that.
Sherpas and things. Yeah.
So now obviously some of my stuff wasn't going to fit them, but a lot of lads donated like their socks, a lot of lads donated their pants, because they were kind of like, I'm not going to do this again kind of thing,
Yeah.
or not for ages anyway.
Not
So
a
a
while.
lot of lads donated a lot of their gear. I gave my
That's
camping
actually nice.
poles, and I had a sleeping mat as well. So just like why not, like, you know, this, like, it obviously it cost me money, but like it's like priceless to them nearly. Like,
Yeah, like they're gonna use it every
they're
day.
going to use it every day, like they're going to get so
Yeah.
much more use out of it than I am.
And how often do they hike it? Do they do like 2 a month or?
It depends. So when we first got there, we were in our vans, and they literally were jumping onto the van before we'd even stopped to get it. So not all the porters are necessarily employed by, so like our guides were employed by Choose a Challenge, but not all our porters were employed by Choose a Challenge. So
Right.
a lot of the porters just work at Kilimanjaro. They all have to grab a bag. If you don't get a bag, obviously there's like better things you can be carrying up. Bags are probably better than carrying chairs and all this kind of stuff. So like there's definitely like a struggle for them to like get the better items and to like get a secure job to go up.
So they're like fighting for.
Yeah, like
They're like fighting to get a bag to hike
to
the mountain.
hike
like.
the mountain, like, yeah. Now, like when we were there, like everyone, like there was no one kind of waiting around, like everyone was doing something.
Yeah.
So I'd say like if you don't get a bag next day, you definitely get it. If you don't get a bag one day, you'll definitely get it the next
The
day.
next day. Okay,
Yeah,
I
that
get
kind
you.
of stuff. But yeah, they're usually going up, like depending on the route you're doing and how experienced you're doing, they're at least going up twice a month.
That's outrageous. Like.
I'd say like some of them are probably going up more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, depending on how much they want to work.
They come down, have a day off, and then go back up and do another 6 days. Like.
Yeah. Or like depending, like some might people do 10 days, like there's obviously different
The
routes.
different routes, yeah.
The more you can go up, like
So after you had your bout of sickness,
sickness.
where do you go next?
So the next day was a lot steeper, and it was a lot more like rocky climbing, and it was 3,800 meters. So we're after going up another 1,000, but like it's not actually what they say on there's like little, you know, you have now reached Mashima,
Yeah.
and it has the height, the altitude. Like that's not actually accurate. Apparently, according to Freddie, told us it's not exactly accurate. So say we went from 1,800, we've gone to 2,800 at Mashima, and then sheer camp was 3,800, and that was only 4 or 5 hours hiking.
Okay, but again, it's a lot.
But again,
tougher.
it was a lot. It was just a tough because we were just going straight up.
Yeah.
But we came above the clouds that day
Nice.
into the sun,
Yeah.
and it was like amazing.
Yeah.
It was like you could feel the sun. We could see all like this massive like bed of clouds. We were like, this is
Yeah,
like,
and
we were
then
like, this is
rainforest
really good. The
underneath it.
rainforest underneath it. We were like, this is really cool. So we were actually divided into groups. Our 35 groups. There was maybe like 5 of us. So there was kind of 7 in each group.
Okay.
And we each had a guide and then a trainee guide. So there was 2 per group, and then Freddie was obviously there as well. And my group, there was, well, like they separated, like you weren't like tied to your group. Obviously, if you wanted to go a little slower, you could.
I
But
get
me
you. Yeah.
and the other 4 girls from NUIG, we were first to the camp that day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, I fought back from my illness. I came back with strength. So we got to camp that day, and we were really happy because, like, I mean, you're leaving at 8 o'clock every morning, so usually you're getting to camp around like mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
So we got there, and we were going to do another little hike later on, as like, you know, like to like help with the elevation and the altitude.
Okay.
So we were going to go up another little bit and come
and
back
then
down.
come back down.
But we actually didn't that day. So that day was just really, really nice. We had like, I was feeling better. We all played like cards in the tent, and we like got good food, and we just,
Yeah.
it was just the sun was shining on us. We were all just like in a good mood that day.
That's nice because you leave so early and then you actually get a bit of time to like sit
Enjoy
around
the
in the
day,
evening
yeah.
and chat and relax.
No, that was one of the only days we did. But
Okay.
it was just like, well, looking back, that was probably one of my favourite days. It was just really enjoyable. That day was
And
good.
what's this day? 2.
This is day 2.
So you have another 4 days ahead of it. Is
Well,
it
yeah,
a 6
overall.
day?
Yeah, so it's 4 days to the top.
Yeah.
4.5.
Oh,
Then-
really? And then you can
A
come
day and a
down
half,
quicker.
yeah, way quicker. So the next morning we get up, and the sunrise, we had after seen like a good sunrise this morning because we were above the clouds.
Yeah.
So we were like, this is gorgeous. We all stood up, we were all ready to go. So we're going up to 4,000 meters, and then we're going to come all the way back down to 3,800. So we were
Right.
going to go up and then come back down to where we camped, the same height that we camped. Alright, oh no, we're going to 4,600 meters. Sorry, I have a little like thing ahead of me with all the all the stops. So we go from 3,800 to 4,600, and then all the way back down to 3,800.
Yeah, so you're coming up over like a ridge kind of.
A ridge, yeah. So we get to Lava Tower. So like the terrain has changed a bit more, and Kilimanjaro is a dormant volcano. So there was a
Right.
lot of like basalt rock, like a lot of black rock. It was kind of like being on like Mars, like it was kind of like
Yeah.
terrestrial kind of. It was really weird.
It's like all got the little holes in it. Like
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. So we get to Lava Tower, which is this big, huge, like massive rock made of like remnants of lava and stuff like that, I think. And we had a hot lunch there.
Nice.
So that maybe took us 4 hours to get to the Lava Tower. And then we had a hot lunch, and then we had a 3-hour hike back down to Barranco Camp. So we stayed the night there, and the next day we were going to do Barranco Wall. So they kind of, every evening they take our blood pressure and stuff like that. That night actually one of the lads got, one of the girls, she like spilled water on her tent. And like everyone else was kind of getting altitude sickness as well at this stage.
Yeah.
But she spilled water all over her mattress. So she hopped in with two of the lads. But during the night she actually got sick on one of the lads.
Oh,
She got altitude
no.
sickness and she
Got sick.
She was trying to get out of the tent,
Yeah.
but she just couldn't make it in time. So there
That's-
was a whole debacle like the next morning about how like Charlotte got sick all over herself. Sorry, Charlotte, I'm writing again, but we were all like laughing.
It's
We thought
okay.
it was like
It happens.
it happens,
Yeah.
yeah. So Sam was not impressed, to say the least.
Fair.
So then the next day was Barranco Wall, and like this is like day 4. So we're doing pretty good now. We're like the next day is like the last day because
You're summiting the next day. Though.
yeah,
Yeah.
technically like. So we do Barranco Wall. So we get up, and Barranco Wall is literally like this. Like this was hard. This was like rock climbing. This wasn't hiking. This was like physically like scaling up the rock, and we were all like not prepared for this. We didn't know what we were gonna hike that day, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it was just a lot of rocks, a lot of like climbing up the rocks. Like it's just a sheer kind of. It's not sheer. That's
No, I get
but
you.
it's just like a
you're
pretty steep rock
hands and
face.
knees kind
Hands and knees, like you need your hands. Like we had hiking poles kind of this. We were using our poles at this stage, Like poles were in the bag, like you needed all hands.
To grip on, yeah.
Now, obviously, the porters and guides would never let anything happen to you. Like
my question is, how do they get up with the 10-15 kilos on their back?
like
just absolute warriors.
Just kind of literally like scramble up, nothing to them. And there's kind of two paths the whole way kind of along. So there's kind of obviously the one that the hikers take, and then obviously the porters have kind of made their own little kind of separate route. Now it's not all the way up, but you could see it like they kind of have a route where they can kind of overtake us, and like it's kind of a harder route as well because
but they get there quicker.
But they get there quicker. Like every single day we left, and they were like packing up our tents and stuff like that, and taking down like the big like food tent and stuff. And it's all set up by the time we get to the camp, the next camp. They have it all.
That's outrageous.
And all our bags and stuff are there, like dinner cooking. Like,
dinner cooking, yeah. They have to feed up the cooking the meal. They're like, oh, they're waiting a while. They're like,
so we were doing Branco wall anyway, and there's a kissing rock as well, where you're like this, and you have to kiss the rock. And
okay, good luck, is it?
Yeah, that kind of thing. So we get to the top of. So we go to Karanga camp, and we have a hot lunch there.
Right.
So we were the first Choose a Challenge group. So Choose a Challenge maybe sent like 15 groups to Kilimanjaro this August. Or this autumn. But we were the first one. So we had Pete, the doctor. So Pete was with us. Pete is the Choose a Challenge doctor. He was from London. So he came with us. He had hiked Kilimanjaro before, and he worked at NHS. But he was coming up with us this time, and he stopped at Karanga camp, and then he was going to meet all the other groups coming up. So at this stage, we were leaving Pete. We all loved Pete. We were like, Pete, my tummy's sore. Pete, my foot is sore. Pete, I have a headache. Pete, I don't feel so well. We were like,
you always had someone to turn to.
Yeah, like so we were like, even though Freddie, Freddie was he knew more than Pete. Pete was like, ask Freddie. He was like he knew everything, like because he'd just done it so much. So it, like the kind of general rule was, whatever the porters and the guides tell you, do it.
Yeah.
Like if they tell you to do a handstand and rub your tummy, like do it, like. So we left Pete at this stage. Pete was staying here, so we were all a little bit sad. And it kind of kicked in that we were like, we're on our own now, if you know what I mean. Like we're kind of, like this is like actually happening.
Yeah.
So we hiked then to Barafu camp. And that maybe took us another 4 hours. So we were after having a long day of hiking. We were after doing steep hiking, then we all had to go all the way down. It was maybe 8 or 9 hours of hiking this day.
Yeah, it was like a heavy day.
Like we had the hot lunch in the middle, like it was just after being a long day. We're all really tired at this stage, and we get to Barafu camp, and we have our dinner, and we're like, go to bed. And we're having our dinner at maybe like 8 o'clock. So like we're having our dinner and it's dark, like we're way later than usual. And they're like, go to bed and try to sleep for 3 hours. So this is 8 o'clock. We wake up at maybe like 11:30, if you can get sleep, because it's freezing at this point. We're all like so cold. We're like exhausted.
Lips are blue.
Lips are blue. Literally, like my lips are so.
Is that the photo? Yeah, your lips are like.
Yeah. My lips are literally like.
It nearly looks like it did. What was that? You know when you put like a couple.
The Kylie lip stands, yeah. So that was like a bit of. So we're all like, we're really nervous. We get up anyway. They give us tea and popcorn. None of us are eating it. We're like, just like exhausted. We're like cold, and we're.
And is this?
This is summit.
This is summit, like you're summiting.
We're summiting. So there was maybe, I'd say there could have been 200 people the same day that we were doing it. So there was other groups and companies on the mountain.
Yeah.
But we were just the last kind of to leave that day because we were kind of the last to get there. So we left last to summit. And like you go up and then you come straight back down.
Yeah.
Like there's no
like standing around on the top or anything like that.
Like because we were last, we actually got like the most amount of time. But because you're so high up, altitude sickness is kicking in. Regardless, like if you're going to get altitude sickness anywhere, it's going to be here. So that's why you have such a limited time. So basically, you have to kind of do it in the dark because the ground is solid. It's frozen.
Okay.
So it's safest to do it at night time, and then also. If you kind of had to see what you had to do, you just wouldn't do it. Like, it took us 8 hours to get to the top. Now, we were a bit longer than, like, we took longer than other groups. Other groups did it, like, a bit quicker.
So, when you were leaving for the summit, you were 8 hours away?
Like, we left at maybe, like, 1 and we didn't get to the top until 9.
Oh.
Yeah.
I imagine, like, you get there and it's like you've gone so far and you wait, and then you do like maybe 3 hours. Like
No.
that's what I think. This is like another basic full day of hiking, and then when you get to the top, you have to turn around and immediately come back down.
Yeah.
How long do you get on the top?
15 minutes. We got 15 minutes. Other groups definitely got less.
How does that feel though?
I cried. It was the most like.
I cried.
It was the most emotional, like one of the most emotional things I've ever witnessed in my life. Like it was. So they kind of say like, you know, bring music and stuff like that. So I had my headphones. I had my playlist downloaded. I was trying to last as long as I possibly could without music, because I was like, this is like going to be my push.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if I could have done it with like listen to my songs in my ear. I was like yeah. I'm like singing like Lana Del Rey was playing. I was like trying not to cry, and like we were so cold because it was like minus 10, minus 15 degrees.
Oh
we are frozen. You can't, like, we want to stop, but we can't stop for any longer than 5 minutes, because obviously if we're stopping hiking, we're getting colder again.
Yeah.
Like we have our snacks and stuff like that. And then maybe around 6 a.m. the sun started to rise, and I also cried when I saw the sun, because it was, no, first of all, it is without a shadow of a doubt the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it was like the whole sky was like orange, like bright orange and bright red, like, and it was like black. It was like being on Mars. Is all I can like. It was like looking at Mars.
Yeah, it
and
like,
then
doesn't
like
feel real.
it all turned purple and pink and blue, and then like you could see the morning star as well, and then like the sun started to rise, and heat came from the sun. So we were all warming up a bit, but we were all just so tired. And then you get to Stella Point. So Stella Point is like the last little stop before you go before you reach the summit.
Yeah.
Your route peak. So we're all kind of there. We're all like I have my GoPro as well. I definitely didn't use it as much as I should have, seeing as I actually bought it months ago for Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
But like some of the videos I have are like random times, and I'm like looking back and I'm like, why did I take a video here? But I have one at Stella Point, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm like giving out into my GoPro. So then we go and we got to route peak. It maybe took us like 45 minutes from Stella Point.
Right.
And we were meeting loads of people coming back down.
Yeah, they're coming down.
So they're like, come on, you got it, guys, you got it, you got it.
And you leave me.
And we're like, no, like you don't know what I'm going through, like, which they do. So we got to the top, and then it was just like, we all got our pictures, our photos. We're all like celebrating with like, you know, our guides and stuff like that. We're like, this is just the best thing in the world that we're here right now. And we're like we're literally at the top of Africa.
Yeah.
The highest point in Africa.
That's outrageous.
And like the views weren't like spectacular, like they were amazing, but like you can see all the glaciers and stuff like that. I definitely say later on in the year there's definitely more snow, because the time we went, like it was obviously like really warm. Like we went at like the perfect time, so there was loads. I'd say there's usually loads of snow and stuff there, but it was just indescribable.
Outrageous.
It was so good. And then we had to go back down, and we all had this adrenaline, and it maybe lasted half an hour max, and then it was like exhaustion. We were falling asleep standing up, like our feet were so sore, like
especially a man who bought his boots the week before.
Jeremy had to get carried down. He was in our group, and they literally had to like carry Jeremy down, because he was like, just his feet were so sore, because obviously like
he hadn't broken
them in. So he was, I felt so bad for him, but we were like all stopping. They were like, drink the juice. They had like my waddy for us, and we were like any chance they gave us to stop, eyes closed, we were conked out. They were like, come on. They're like, you gotta do this, like, and like going down, we were like, man, like if I had to like see what we were going up, like you wouldn't do it, like that's like the mentality of like trying to do the same thing again and again. Like it's a little bit of a hill. They tell you don't look up as well when you're going up. They're like it's a little bit of a hill. You think you get to the top, and there's another little bit and another little bit, and it's all like completely monotonous. It's all just this kind of like sand and rock, and you're just like going down was horrible. That was the worst bit of it. That 3 hours coming back down from the summit back to
you're like, oh,
we were just like, yeah, and it was really like a lot of like sand. It was really unstable, so we're like skidding down for loads of it, and your feet are sore. And we get there, we have an hour nap, and then we have a bit of lunch, and then we have to hike again.
So
it's like we don't camp. We didn't camp at Baraka camp. You only camp there for one night. Because obviously the next group is going to come.
So say like from the start of day 4, or from the start of, say the day before you hike the summit, you get what, 4 hours sleep in like 24 hours?
Yeah, something like in 36 hours, I think we did like 26 hours of hiking or something like that. 24 hours. I just loved it.
And if, when you get to the bottom, is it just like exhausted? How long do you sleep for?
Oh, like the very bottom, or
so
when we get back to like the camp, the base kind of camp.
Yeah.
We like 1 or 2 hours sleep maximum, because then you have to have your dinner or your lunch, and then you have to hike back down to Mweka camp. Now there's a couple of different camps on the way down. So like Millennium Camp, and then there's Mweka Camp, and one is 2 hours away and one is 5 hours away. So we were supposed to go to the one that was 5 hours away.
Yeah.
And then we only have like a 2 hours the next morning, last day. But we were like, Freddie could tell we were so tired, and he was like, I think we'll just go to Millennium Camp and sleep there.
Yeah.
And so that was 2 hours. That was actually okay. It wasn't too bad, because it was pretty like solid land.
Yeah.
And we actually met Pete. Pete was like just out for a hike, and we met him. So we were like, Pete, we did it. And it was like, that was grand. And it was actually one of the lads' birthdays, Sam.
Okay,
it was his birthday.
Nice.
And they came out with a 4-layer cake. It said Happy Birthday Sam on it. It was chocolate, like chocolate vanilla, like ice. Like, without a doubt, one of the best cakes I've ever seen.
Where did they have this stored?
They just brought it up the mountain. Like,
who?
The porters.
What?
They organised. They saw it was Sam's birthday.
And they were like, oh, we'll have
Like
to get a cake.
no one said
7
this.
hours up the
Obviously we
mountain
didn't
to
say it to him, because none of us knew Sam before we left. And they hiked it up the mountain to Sam.
That is outrageous.
And Sam was like, what? So we all got cake that night. And that was really nice, because it was like just after his summit and everything.
Yeah.
Really happy. And then the next morning we get off, and we had another like 5 hours to the very bottom. We get to the very bottom. There's like a shop selling Kilimanjaro beer. We had Kilimanjaro beer. We're waiting for everyone to get down. We're all delighted. There's guys washing your boots that'll wash your boots for you. We're like, yes, please. Of course, I will pay you $15 to wash my boots. And we're just like, we're delighted. We're like ecstatic. And then we had like a award ceremony back at the hotel. We got a medal. I should have brought my medal.
Yeah,
but I was in college. Sorry. We got a certificate from Kilimanjaro National Park.
Right.
We actually had to sign out as well. So we got a certificate from them saying you completed Kilimanjaro age 20 on whatever the 29th of, or 29th of August, yeah. I think it was 29th to 30th of August. So I have that at home. I'm going to get it framed, and then choose a challenge. Give us these big heavy medals thing.
Yeah.
And it's like Kilimanjaro on it. 2022.
And tell me, are there like many like dangers other than like obviously like falling, like in terms of like snakes or what sort of like animals are
birds
tipping around there?
Saw a spider once, but like babies, like it was like small birds. There's no bugs because the altitude.
Okay, yeah.
So like there's actually like there's very little dangers other than, you know, like physically like your body, you know, like giving up or like altitude sickness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously like some altitude sickness can be a lot serious than others, and it can affect others a lot more, but no, there was no one that like exhaustion and stuff like that. Like there's no snakes or anything. Like even in the jungle there's actually monkeys. And we didn't see them on the way up, but we saw them on the way down. They were really cool. But that's about it. Like there's nothing that was gonna come out and bite us.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
You got to see plenty of monkeys in Zanzibar.
And lots of plants as well. There's actually a moss, sphagnum moss, and it can only be found in bogs in Ireland and in Kilimanjaro.
What?
Yeah, it grows in cloud forest and raised bogs.
And how come it doesn't grow in like cloud forests in...
I don't know. Well, it probably does, but...
In like South America?
Yeah, it probably does as well. But
oh, but it's just cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Sorry. I was like on the way, I was on the way up, and I was like, you know, there's a moss on Kilimanjaro, and it only grows in Ireland and Kilimanjaro, and everyone was like, oh, cool.
Cool.
Like, I study plants in college. I don't study plants in college. Like, that's not related to what I'm doing at all. She just mentioned it in one lecture, and I was like, oh,
and you were like, I am using that one.
Yeah, I was. So, yeah,
that was Kilimanjaro. Unreal. And did you have much time between
No.
finishing Kilimanjaro and getting to Zanzibar?
No. So.
Nothing.
Oh well, between finishing Kilimanjaro and getting to Zanzibar. So we did a 2-day safari in Tanzania.
Okay.
So we get back to the hotel. We were all fighting for a shower. Like I didn't we didn't shower once.
No, I can't imagine there was anywhere to.
So we were.
There's no like rivers or anything.
There actually is, yeah, but none that like we're all gonna stop and have a shower.
Yeah, but you can't. Can you like wash your feet?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
No, but we didn't wash our feet. Like some of the lads, there was hot water like just before dinner to wash our hands, and some of the lads kind of like sprayed themselves, but like the girls couldn't. Like I couldn't wash my hair because it wasn't gonna dry.
Yeah.
So I would have just had wet hair and stuff like that. So like we could wind and wash. We had loads of wet wipes, so we wiped ourselves down. And that was, the toilet situation was also horrific, but I won't get into that. It was.
Well, I can imagine.
It was.
When we.
You're peeing a lot. Like I mean, like 10, 12 times a day.
Well, that's because you're taking in like.
We're taking in
4 or
so
5
much
years
water,
more.
yeah. But like obviously there was no toilets either, so.
Not even at the camps, no.
Like.
Or what you did, a hole in the ground, yeah.
But the smell was so bad, you just wouldn't even bother, like, yeah.
Fair.
So we were off arguing to use this first shower when I got back down. I got the last shower.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, there was 3 of us in my room, but we actually all just jumped into the pool. We were so dirty as well, but we were so hot, so sweaty, so gross.
Pool cleaner still
I
at
was
the
like,
edge of that. It was just like,
straight away, we all went swimming. It was so nice because our bodies were like, you know, when you go for a swim and it like relaxes you. And we were like, so we got a shower and we had our award ceremony and stuff. And then the rest of them, we were all drinking then that evening and like texting our parents being like, I'm alive and like I'm not dead yet.
After 6 days.
There was actually really good service on the mountain.
Oh really?
Excellent service.
So did you all get SIM cards?
Yeah. So everyone got a SIM card except me. I actually did get a SIM card, but my phone was locked. I was just after getting a new phone. It was locked to 3. I unlocked it and Barafu, if you're I don't know what his name was, but if he ever sees this, I find him and I will give out to him so much because he said your man that like sold us all the SIM cards.
Oh, okay.
It was like $15 for a SIM card, grand. Everyone else's SIM cards was working. He told Connor, he said, just text me when her phone gets unlocked and I'll unlock the SIM for her to get it to work.
Okay.
He had to like activate the
SIM card.
So not unlock it, activate the SIM card. So Connor texted him and rang him and texted him and rang him the whole entire way and he just never replied. So I spent €15 on a SIM card and it was useless.
And it never worked.
Never worked. And then it ended up like locking my phone like completely because I was taking out my SIM and then like I couldn't take pictures for like a day and a half as well. I was so annoyed. Eventually I got it working, but other people
had your phone working, not the SIM card?
Like nothing. It was just like your phone is locked, like insert the SIM. So I couldn't take pictures, I couldn't do anything like a day and a half. I was really annoyed.
That is.
So Barafu, like I'm coming for you. Like I actually.
You're gonna fly back over there and just help.
Yeah, I was really like I didn't even mind the SIM bit, but the fact that like I couldn't take pictures that day, it was like really annoyed me.
Yeah, that's I never really bothered getting a SIM apart from in Honduras.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, I went to go get one, or I actually went to top up when I was crossing into Guatemala.
Yeah.
And apparently the SIM cards meant to work for like Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras and Guatemala, like all 4 countries. But it just never worked in Guatemala. And same, I paid like $15 and it never worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a waste.
Like
sitting on a bus for 7 hours listening to the same music
it's the same song
for the last 4 months.
4 months. Was there a lot of Wi-Fi around there?
Not on like the buses or anything like that.
No.
Just had to wait until there wasn't like the bus terminals and things like that. So that was handy for.
You'd have to be pretty certain where you're getting on. And
figure out where you're going next and things like that.
Yeah, but yeah. So we woke up the next morning at 4:30, and we were all still drunk. Not even
drunk and sore.
And we had to do 5 hours then to our safari.
You didn't have any rest.
The journey was the worst because like our big duffel bags. So we had all our clothes for Zanzibar and everything, and like all the stuff we had taken to Kilimanjaro. They were like, I had a big plastic bag. Everything was tied up, sealed. It smelled like piss and dirt and sweat. I was like, this is like, don't infect the rest of my clothes.
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
stay separate.
No, I was like, so they all went on the roof of the vans, and then we had like the bags that we had carried on our backs to Kilimanjaro. They had to come in the jeep, the safari jeeps with us. We were crowded. We were so cramped in. We were like the road is like so bumpy. We were all like,
Yeah.
it was just like, it was actually horrible. Like it was such a terrible 5 hours. We were all fast asleep. And then like we kind of woke up and stuff like that. And then like maybe like 3.5 hours in, we actually dropped off our bags. We dropped off our bags at this like really cool like restaurant, like museum, like hotel kind of thing. It was like, I don't really know what it was. It was like massive. There was a big gift shop. There was like wood fire pizza. Noted, like, please note this wood fire pizza for later. And like we dropped off our bags here and we were like, oh my god, like this is where we're staying.
Was this in like a town or?
Yeah, like this was
Okay.
like on the way to the ferry. We
Right.
dropped off our like rucksacks here and like our big bags. We're like, this is awesome. So then we go and we do our safari and we're like thinking, we're like, oh, wood fire pizza. We're like, I'm gonna, like when that's Harry was like, I'm gonna get a burger, I'm gonna get a chips, I'm gonna get carbonara,
Everything.
I want sushi. We were like, we were just like, imagine the food. And me and Clara and Charlotte had seen the wood fire pizza because we went to get a coffee. So we were like telling everyone about this wood fire pizza. We were like, guys, we're gonna get wood fire pizza. We didn't go back to that place and we did not get wood fire pizza. We stayed in like a separate thing all together.
So where'd your bags go?
Someone was just meeting us to collect our bags there, but we didn't know that. So we were like, no wood fire pizza. We were devastated. Because like I suppose like it just shows just how much like choice we have with our food here. Like all of our food and stuff was paid for until we got to Zanzibar. We got breakfast there, but like we had to pay for dinner. But everything else was paid for. And like the food in Kilimanjaro was excellent.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Like chicken chips, like the chips there, like chipper chips.
Yeah.
So they were so good. Like rice. We got soup every day. We got fresh fruit in the mornings. We got pancakes, scrambled eggs, like porridge. Like we had tea, coffee.
Anything you could want really.
Like we'd so much of it. And then we got like they tell you to bring snacks, so we all had like sweets and nuts and stuff like that. So this place we were staying was actually like really nice. It was kind of like it wasn't that nice. There was nothing there, but it was a bed. So we were like we can't complain. So it was just kind of like a tent, and then a bed in the tent, and that was it.
Okay.
We drank the place dry again the next night, but he was not expecting. Like we all ordered one beer and he had run out of beers at this stage, so we were all kind of one guy down.
He had 35 beers.
He didn't not even have 35 beers. He actually had. So not all of us went to the safari and stuff. Only 22 of us went on. So other people went home because you had to pay extra to go to them.
So some people finished Kilimanjaro
and just flew
home.
So the morning we went on a safari, they drove back to the airport and flew home.
So they did 24 hours flight, 6 days of hiking, to the next day get back on a plane for another 24 hours home.
Yeah.
That is insane.
A lot, like.
Well, I suppose maybe they just didn't have time, or.
Yeah, a lot of them but like a lot of people, some people didn't want to pay to go to, like it was kind of like €1,000 extra to go to Zanzibar and the safari. Like, I would absolutely say it's so worth it. Like, you could spend €1,000 on a new phone.
Yeah.
You could spend €1,000 on clothes and like a bag and everything, or else you could spend it on a week in Africa, like doing like stuff you'd never do otherwise.
I back that, like making a few sacrifices.
Some people had done other stuff during the summer that they had spent their money on. So like some people had gone interrailing, or some people had stuff on. Like one guy had a wedding on, so we couldn't go. One of the girls, she had nowhere to live. So we actually missed the start of college, like the first couple of days.
Oh right.
So she had nowhere to live, so she was
she had to go home and figure it out.
Find that out. She was like, I can't go home and not have anywhere. She only got a place like the last minute, so if she hadn't gone home, she probably wouldn't have had anywhere.
Yeah.
So like people had like the reason.
Different
Some people
reasons.
just didn't want to go really. So 22 of us went. So we went on a safari to Ngorongoro crater. That was really cool. It's a big like volcanic crater, it's like massive. Like it couldn't even like when we got out of the jeep, we were like, oh my god, this is huge. So we drive down and they all live on like the plain in the crater, all the animals. So we saw all the animals
down in the crater.
It's like a plain, like it's like flatlands now.
Yeah.
So we saw lions, we saw baby lions, we saw male lions as well, which is like a rare one. We saw elephants, zebras, wildebeest. We saw like a baby cheetah hunting some zebras. It was so cute. We saw hippopotamus, we saw ostriches, monkeys, loads of monkeys, baboons. Got really cool photos. And then the next day we went to Muireann National Park, so that's a big lake, massive lake.
And like a boat tour.
No,
No.
I don't think you can get a boat tour. You just drive around again.
Okay.
But we saw giraffes that day. We saw different kind of monkeys. We saw more elephants, more like the same stuff we'd seen. We saw really cool birds. You know, like birds you see in the zoo,
Yeah.
and like the really like strange looking ones are like all different colours. Like they're like a massive like beak and like all this kind of stuff. And when like you saw them and they're like in like their natural habitat, and we were like, oh, these like birds are real. Like they actually like exist outside the zoo. Yeah.
I was so jealous you got to see lions.
Yeah, they were so cool. Some of the people had like way more professional cameras.
Yeah.
And like their pictures are amazing. Like my pictures on my phone like don't do justice at all.
Yeah, Tomas was the same when we were in Zambia. He had like a proper, it wasn't even like that big or anything like that, but it was way better than our phones. Like,
yeah.
So his photos were so cool.
Yeah, some of the guys two of the guys, Tola and Connor, they actually like, I'm not sure what Tola's doing in college, and he's doing business, but Connor's actually doing filmography.
Okay. Did he?
In college.
Oh, he watched
the video.
The video, yeah.
And I was
Is that his? Yeah.
Yeah, that's his video. Yeah. So like they had like proper like really really good cameras, and like they like some of the pictures they got at like the night sky in Kilimanjaro and everything were like the whole thing is just dotted with stars.
Yeah.
Like, it's like my phone could never in a million years, it wouldn't pick up one star, let alone like the hundreds that they got.
And it's like looking at it with an eyeball. Like.
Literally, with an eyeball, like the zoom, like you can zoom in and like the picture doesn't get blurrier, it gets clearer. So they got some really really good pictures on the safari. And then we met the Maasai tribe.
Yeah.
So we did like a dance with them, they kind of showed us around, like their houses and stuff like that. And then we went to the airport and we got on a little propeller plane.
Oh yeah.
Like
the
to Zanzibar. So that was maybe an hour. And like the airport was literally like a tent.
What?
Like there was like a small building, but then like the rest of it was like a tent, like canopied, like tent. Yeah, I suppose like just never get
like
rain.
A marquee.
Marquee.
Someone
like,
was
yeah.
having a 21st. Like.
Yeah, they did. The like the security, like they didn't have plastic trays, like they were like little wooden trays that you put your bags on and everything. So we got on our little propeller plane and we got to Zanzibar and we arrived and we were just all really buzzed. The sun was setting every single night in Zanzibar. The sunset was literally all the colours of the rainbow, and then like just orange. So then Zanzibar we were up the north in Kendwa Beach.
How big is Zanzibar?
Now, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought it was the size of Leash, except elongated. I don't think it's the size of Leash, but it's not that big.
Like,
it's small.
Can you walk around it?
No.
No.
You'd want to be driving.
Okay.
I'd say I don't think it's much bigger. It's definitely a different shape. It's more kind of like a longish kind of island.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's.
But nowhere near the size of Ireland, like.
Oh no! Can I actually look up?
Yeah. Because I'm actually curious.
I'm
curious as to how big it is.
So it's 2,500 kilometers squared.
What's that similar to? Okay. Okay, yeah, so it's about 1.5 times the size of Leash.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like Leash and half of Offaly.
Yeah, but it's not Leash and Carlow, like, it's not that big. Like.
Yeah, no, it's not that big. But yeah, I get what you mean. So what was like food, culture, like in Zanzibar?
Zanzibar is a lot different to Tanzania.
Yeah, is it much of a
even though
difference?
It's like technically Zanzibar belongs to Tanzania.
Yeah.
It's an island off Tanzania. But I think they've like a lot of their own laws, their own government. But it's the population is like 95% Muslim.
Okay.
In Zanzibar, but in Tanzania it's a lot of Christian, like they're Methodist, Baptist, like Catholics, all that kind of stuff. So that was like one big thing. But you could definitely buy your way off of anything in Zanzibar. Like,
yeah.
Pay your way around. Like literally, I don't think where we were. I was in the non-Muslim kind of region.
Okay.
And it was a bit lawless. Just it was like one of the only words I could use to it. It was wild. Like,
yeah, I've seen some of the videos in like the bars and stuff.
Yeah,
it looks
was
like
just
absolutely
like
insane.
Crazy. Like these Maasai guys, like there was the Maasai tribe. There's some of the Maasai men in Zanzibar, and like they're not allowed like drink and all this kind of stuff, but like some of them had like iPhones. Like these are people that like live in like cowden huts, but they had iPhones, you know, they're smoking, they're having like drinks and
It's
stuff
like
like that.
where they
And
go
they're
to let their hair down.
like the day before we had seen them all like doing their dance and, you know, making fire with literally sticks, and then the next day we saw them in the club like like dancing away, like trying us, and we're like, what the hell? We're like, it was really weird. So the food was like, a lot of the food like in the restaurants and stuff like that, it was basically like just pastas and like pizza, and like it was nothing, it was very like westernized food, I would say.
Okay.
But then like the second day I think we went to Stone Town, and we went to Prison Island, and there's giant tortoises on Prison Island, like huge ones, yeah. So we get to feed them. There's a big sign, it was like, don't sit on the tortoise. So I thought that was like really funny. I was like,
you're like, oh, I'm so tempted.
yeah, like it's we thought tortoises having sex.
Okay.
It was one lad, has weird.
Hilarious.
So imagine, it was hilarious. We were like, we can't believe that we're here at the right time to see this. And then like Stone Town as well. So we went to like they were like, where do you want to eat? And we were like, traditional, like, you know, Zanzibar food. Like we wanted to eat like the food that like you eat. But a lot of it is just kind of curries, a lot of rice, a lot of chapati bread, which is kind of like naan bread, like, you know, flat bread. Like that's like they.
And then you like grab the bread in the hand and then pick up the food and eat it all in one
yeah,
bowl.
like obviously like we all got knives and forks. I'd like to think of it as a bit of like, I did a bit of that.
Yeah.
You trying to be like so cultural,
Eating
but
with your hands.
but like there was knives and forks like everywhere. Like a lot of people were just eating with their knives and forks and stuff like that. Like there was nothing.
No.
But that's like one of the most famous restaurants in Zanzibar where we went. Yeah, it was really, really busy.
Stone Town?
It was in Stone Town, but I couldn't tell you the name of the restaurant. But it was like so hectic because there was obviously like loads of us. And like you can't just go up to your man and you're like, just tell him what you want, and we're like, we have literally no idea what any of this is.
What do you have?
What do you have? Like tell us. So they have a lot of like rice, we did a lot of like samosas, like kind of like fried food, like bits like that, like pancakes and stuff. And then just a lot of like curries, a lot of fish curries, goat curries, chicken curry. Did you try any goat curry? I did, and it was delicious.
Yeah, I imagine it quite tender.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like I would be like adverse to meat, like I do. I'm a meat eater, but the goat curry was really, really nice. Yeah. So the food day was good. We went snorkeling one day, and when we were going snorkeling, we were on the boat. You kind of, it was like you go to like we're going around. So we were at the top, so we were kind of going around the top of the island.
Yeah.
To like there's like this special snorkeling spot. Like we were there, and there was like boats, just loads and loads of boats all lined up in a circle, and then like all the people were just in the middle like snorkeling and swimming around and stuff like that. And the fish were like gorgeous. But on our way there, one of the guys running the boat was like, oh my god, guys, he was like, dolphins, and we were all like, oh good, and he was like, okay, get in.
Yeah.
We were like, and we were like, okay. So he's like, come on, like I'm gonna like put on your scuba gear right now, like whoever thinks they can do this, like get in. I'm like, I can absolutely do this. Let me jump into the Indian Ocean, like wherever I am. I'm like, yeah. So I like have my scuba gear on. He's like, jump in now, and he kind of like swim like parallel stuff. Had all my clothes on, didn't take off my clothes. So I was like, okay. I like got back in, and I was like, all my like my bikini was dry nearly. I had like all my clothes were sopping wet. I was like, awesome. So I like laid them out to dry. But we did that like a couple of more times. Like obviously the dolphins are moving, so the boats kind of follow them. And then we like just jump in and you swim with them, and like you can like one of the guys said he could hear them.
Yeah, you can.
I didn't hear them, but he said he could hear the.
They have like a really high frequency kind of.
So I kind of wish I could hear them. But anyway, but that was so cool. Like you could see them all swimming underneath you, and then like they come up, like beside you, and like people pay. Like one of the activities we could have paid to do was kind of like go dolphin swimming. Yeah. But like obviously you have to find, even if you pay to go dolphin swimming, you might never find the dolphins. So like we were so lucky that like we got to go see the dolphins and swim with the dolphins and then go snorkeling.
And while you had planned to do something else.
While we had planned to do something else, like we didn't pay for that, and like that was better than snorkeling. Like snorkeling was so much fun, but like swimming with dolphins was like, I never thought I'd do that ever.
To me they don't look real.
No, I haven't.
They look like CGI. It looks like someone like animated them. Because they just kind of glide along.
A video of like me and Charlotte stayed in the boat. Like there was one time where everyone got in and me and Charlotte stayed in the boat, and we were so glad we did, because we got a video of maybe like 7 of them, more, like the whole like pod. They all came out of the water at the one time, and they all went back under, and like it was amazing. We went swimming with turtles as well.
Yeah, I saw those
Bit my
photos. I
ass.
was very, very jealous.
They were sore. They were nippy.
Yeah.
Like we were like it was that. This is a turtle sanctuary, so none of the turtles were like older than, like, I think like they were all younger than 10, but
Yeah.
some of them were huge, like gigantic big daddy turtles. And you kind of get into the water, and the water was like, it wasn't that cold. This is like a big swamp kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was massive. And you kind of go down steps, and they give you like seaweed and stuff. Like, but the second they know you seaweed, they all come towards you, like they nip. And but like when you're in the water, like the water was really, really deep. So like there was nowhere to stand.
Yeah.
So you were just swimming. But then all they'd like bump into you. Like they did not care about
I
it.
can imagine they're quite tough.
Yeah, like they were like they will bite you for you to get out of the way. Like they don't care. They will go past you. Like their flippers, like their fins are like sore. It's like they're tough.
Like rugged,
they're rugged. Like it's like someone hitting you with an arm. Like it's not like a fish. Fin. Like it's like it's solid. Like
yeah.
and like we were all like trying to like swim and like avoid them, and then like you think you're safe, and then like you hear something else again. So then we were like kind of on steps, and you could feed them seaweed, and they like come up around you, and
They just become so accustomed to people like being around.
Honestly, and then like once they reach the age of like 15, I think they were released back into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was loads of little baby turtles, like tiny little ones, but we
Yeah.
weren't. They were like safe somewhere.
Yeah,
so
you're not allowed to go near them.
But yeah, they were funny anyway. To say the least, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, turtles are class.
It was really cool.
Do you have any bad experiences? Obviously, altitude sickness, but anything like?
No, I have to say no. I got glass on my foot.
Yeah.
That was one time. If anyone knows, I stood on a piece of glass, and I was like, that kind of. I wouldn't say it ruined it, but like it was not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because my foot was so sore.
I saw the video as well. It didn't look nice.
No, it was so bloody, and then like I was so drunk that like the drunk me was not capable of like cleaning. I actually did a really good job.
Surprised
But
yourself.
it was just like, yeah. I suppose like the difference between like just how like where we were staying in our hotel, like my balcony. So to go to my hotel room, I had to go down a little balcony along like the side of the hotel. My hotel room was like in the very corner, and I was like had one to myself because like there was an odd number.
Right.
So I took one to myself. But if you looked over the balcony, there was just this big like our hotel was like complete like white marble, white stone, like it was all like clean and polished and cool, and like it was just this big like lot, and it was just like sand and like half made buildings, and like loads of rubbish in there, like a clothesline, and like there was like some people like in there, like I don't think they were living there, but like the difference between like where we were staying and then like literally right next door, like there was definitely like a big like poverty difference, I suppose, like in terms of like who has money and who doesn't.
Because I imagine tourism is their only source of income, really.
A lot of it, like, is their only source of income.
Or like fishing and things like that.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like fishermen, obviously, but like there's not a lot to be. Like, there isn't a lot to do if you're not in the tourist industry. If you don't have a restaurant, if you're not doing kind of tour guides, if you're not like if you're not selling gifts and stuff like that, like, it definitely was a bit jarring seeing like, you know, just, and even in Tanzania as well, like they're like on the side road like selling fruit and stuff like that. Like there definitely is like such a divide between the rich and the poor, and then like us coming from like, I suppose like obviously like we're like our lower class are still like upper class to some of them.
Yeah, it's them. Because I think it's something like if you take the entire like world population and you like think about the 1%, if you make more than 13,000 a year, you're in like the top 1%. Of like in the world, obviously, like that takes into like all like third world countries and things like that.
That's crazy.
Kind of puts that into perspective, like their wages.
Like the average monthly wage in Mossy is $50 a month.
Yeah.
Like that's like nothing.
No, it's not. And then if they can obviously get like into doing like Sherpa or like something like
that kind of stuff like that, like increases it. Like, but that's why so many of them do it, because it's from like. Lucas was one of our guides in our group. He has a degree in English,
Yeah.
He has gone to college, but he still can't get a job.
It's just more. It's
like this is what he has to do because he can't get a job as a teacher anywhere. Like he's more qualified than I am.
Yeah.
And like he just has to do this until he said he's just hoping he can find a job soon to do this.
Teaching.
But he said he was doing this since he was young.
Yeah. So he always did it.
Since like the age is 18, but I'd say like it's kind of 17, 18. That's
Yeah.
and like to get a passport as well. To get a passport is like $2,000 or something like that, which is like. What ridiculous money!
That's outrageous.
Like the same way here, like maybe like everyone has a passport.
Yeah,
like you're born with a passport. Like that's
it's
why so many of them
one.
can't leave. Like they just can't. They don't have a way to get out of Tanzania. And like Freddie, we were chatting to him. So he has 3 kids. He's 2 sons and a daughter. Like his eldest son's maybe 10. And we were like, do your kids miss you? Like they obviously don't see you that often. He's like, no, they know that like their daddy is working to make sure that they can go and do stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of the jobs that they want are kind of like doctor, you know, like they're like important jobs.
Yeah.
Like vocational job, like doctor, teacher, like, you know, healthcare worker, like I do not just like a shop owner or I want to be like a singer, like it's like I want to get a job that I know is needed, that I know is going to make me money, like so they have no wish. They were like, he was like, my kids don't care that I'm away because they know that I'm doing this for them. That kind of.
Yeah, I noticed when we were in Zambia and we were asking them what you want to be when you grow up. Like one lad said he wants to be a pilot, and I was like, "Have you ever been in a plane before?" And he's like, "No." He wants to be a pilot.
Yeah, like that's.
It's mad.
It's crazy stuff like that. Like they don't.
Their ambition is outrageous.
It is outrageous. Like, and I'd say like they work, like, a lot of Lucy was one of our when we got to Zanzibar. Oscar and Lucy met us at the airport in Tanzania. And brought us to Zanzibar.
Yeah.
And then she was kind of with us. So she was from Zanzibar, which said she lived in Tanzania for a couple of years and then she moved back to Zanzibar. And she said that they have a completely different work ethic as well. They'll only work what they have to work and then they'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Like they don't, like she said, like they don't strive. Said
This
most
is
people
Zanzibar.
in Zanzibar,
Yeah.
she said they don't strive to have a better life and have like better cars and better houses and stuff like that. They just don't see the point. They're like, why would I work more than I have to?
Yeah.
Like I'll work so I can pay for what I need, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Which I
And
suppose
they're
is
happy
like
with that.
they're happy with that. And she said like part of it is like a good way of living. She was like, you know, like that you're not prioritizing work over like, you know, having fun, enjoying yourself, living your life and stuff like that. But she said a lot of that mindset can, you know, be you have a negative impact towards the kids and stuff like that because then they don't have loads of money to send them to college and don't have loads of money to send them to school. So she said like it's been grand in the past couple of like decades and stuff like that because you know like that ambition to leave and that ambition to go to college and school and stuff wasn't there.
Yeah.
And she said a lot of the Muslim kids are kind of okay because well not that they're okay but like they go to school because of religion like and stuff like that. She said like a lot of the other like kids in Zanzibar that like are Christians and stuff like that they get the negative impacts of their parents not working.
Yeah.
A lot more, if you know what I mean. It's like the kids are fed and they're paid for and like, you know, like a lot of them don't go to school and like a lot of them won't go to college, they won't go to secondary school because, you know, like their parents aren't encouraging it and like they just can't afford it then.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's just kind of creating like a cycle that's like, it's hard to break. It's
yeah,
like,
I get you.
But she said,
you adopt the habits of your parents.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And she said like, if anyone that has any bit of ambition and any way of making money, she said will go so far in Zanzibar. She said like, it's easy to make money if you have an education.
Oh yeah, or the desire to obviously go work.
Yeah, go work. So yeah.
What was your favourite moment?
Of the entire trip.
Yeah, or give me one, say from Tanzania and one from Zanzibar.
I definitely would say the sunrise.
Yeah.
The summit night. Yeah.
On the second day. Or
No,
the summit.
summit night was like my favourite moment, and then like going. Obviously, the top was really really good, but like that sunrise is just like that was like I can do this.
Yeah.
Basically, like that's what it instilled in me. Then in Zanzibar, there's like when we went on like a sunset kind of cruise thing. Like obviously like all the swimming with the dolphins, but that was really good. We went on like a sunset cruise. We were all just really good friends, and we were all just after like really bonding.
Yeah.
And we're like there was just one point the sun was setting, and we were all drinking, we were all having fun, and it was like that like just that time was really, really enjoyable. It was just like we had no worries. College didn't matter. Like jobs, like nothing mattered at home. We were here right now on a boat. Like the ocean is like it's blue. We're having drinks. We're surrounded by all the people we're friends with. Like the sun is setting. It was just like this is peak life. Like it doesn't get better than this. No.
Right.
So.
I think we'll end it there because I know you have to get to work. Don't you? You work for.
Yeah, what time is it? Oh.
22.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I like.
All the girls are slagging me. They're like, Muireann, like you don't have to talk about this again. They're like, we're not gonna listen. And I was like,
they don't have
I
to
don't
listen.
care if you're gonna listen. I was like, I want to do this. I was like, yeah.
You should listen. It's great
Should
chat.
listen. Yeah.
Great chat.
They all said they all called me when I came home and I went to shop. They're all like, you're like Adam Duffin.
Who's this? I'm gonna have a word with them. Who was it?
Nah, Victoria. I know, but they're only laughing because I was like I traveled and they're like, you think you're Adam Duffin now? And I'm like, no. I was like, but it's fair, like you've gone on your own, like what you did was really cool, like you left on your own. Like.
Yeah, to be fair. But it's also like I don't see many people doing like Kilimanjaro.
No, I suppose not.
There were two like very out of there things as well.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, yeah.
Like I don't know anyone that's been to Zanzibar or Kilimanjaro, and I also don't know anyone that's. Well, I do now. Previous to me, I didn't know anyone personally that went to Central America.
No, neither did I.
Because there's
like when you were doing it, like everyone was kind of like, fuck, like it was like.
Why is this like that?
Yeah, everyone was kind of like he's actually like. Like everyone's like, oh, I want to travel, I want to see the world, I want to kind of do all this stuff, and then like, you actually went and you did it, like, you were like, I'm out of here, like, and it looked so like, we were living through you, like. It
was class. The boys in work were like, they were saying they could work somewhere, like I might have a story up, and they were like, see what that fucker was today. Like.
Yeah, literally, like, I'm like, with the girls, I was like when an active picnic was on, it was like lashing rain. Did you go pick? Yeah,
I was there. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care. I was like a cocktail by the beach, getting scalded, and I was like, I couldn't give a fuck.
You're like, okay.
I'm happy, like right where I am now. Like.
That's all you want. I think you kind of forget about what
you're doing at
what's
home.
going on at home, like, or if there's like birthdays or like people are going, like I miss St. Patrick's Day, but I was literally like I'm on an island in Honduras.
Yeah, like I didn't care. Like I was like, because like some people were like, oh, you're gonna miss picnic, like, and I was like this. I like at the start I was like, I don't think when I was kind of like deciding like, oh, will I do it or not? I was like, I'd love to go to picnic, and everyone was like, no, like you can't miss it, like have me on. And then like closer I got to it, I was like, thank fuck, I'm not going to electric picnic. I sold my ticket for €400 before I left.
That's class.
Michael took it off me, and then I got home and he was like, fuck you. He's like, Michael got like 200 for it, so I made like double my profit, and then like Michael lost €200.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
But it was, like when you're over there, like obviously we weren't on our phones, but like I wasn't on my phone.
You just forget about it.
For the whole of, like I text my mom and I was like, all good, I'm alive, like maybe like every second day.
Yeah.
I'd like use like one of the girls' hotspots or something like that, but like we weren't like.
Like that.
We weren't like texting or anything like that, and I kind of like it was nice for a break. And then like we came home, and like even when we were in Zanzibar, like I still had no SIM, so I had no like 4G or anything. So like it was like hotel Wi-Fi, which was useless and stuff like that. And I got home and I was like on TikTok, and I was like, I don't understand any of these trends.
Yeah, what is going on there?
Like there was also like different stuff like that, and I'm like, it just shows like how much like in 2 weeks like the whole like.
Everything changes.
Everything like changes. It's such a cycle, and I was like, I didn't miss anything.
No.
I was like, I did not miss a single thing. So I definitely think I like go on my phone less, and I wear sunscreen more.
Yeah.
So I picked up good habit. Yeah.
I think like the only thing that I really like missed were probably like friends and family.
Yeah, like that. Like it was Sally's birthday, so I texted Sally happy birthday, but like I didn't like. There was nothing. Like
yeah, you want to.
I
wish
wasn't
like,
I wish I was home. Like
yeah.
I definitely like I miss like party. I miss Sally had a party for her birthday. I definitely miss those stuff. Like I can't even remember what I missed because I don't care. But like I didn't like. There's nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
There's nothing like that. I miss like my brother's birthday, but
the Baker.
didn't really care about that.
Baker.
No, my older brother.
Oh, right.
Not the important one. Yeah, so I was like, it was nice to go away and have